Hey guys, it's Pastor Nicole. I got a short message for you tonight. I hope you can get something out of it. So just sit back and listen for a little while. Today's not going to be some great theological discussion. I come to you as a servant of God, but most of all as a servant to people. So in the capacity of a pastor with a heart of healing for people, I just want to speak for a few minutes about the truth as I know it as of January 21st, 2021. And let me be clear, you're entering a no conspiracy zone for the next few minutes. No conspiracies, just a segment of God's good news. First, let's be honest, things have been a little chaotic for quite some time. As of today, the virus has been in the United States for 1 year. 1 year ago today, it was first diagnosed. And to say that the political climate in this country has been a little contentious is an understatement. Disparities among us in the nation have been used against one another. And while yesterday we watched with hope that calm and civility will be the order of the day once again, we know that we are still knee-deep in the happenings of a broken world. Most people I know are on edge. Their spirit is unsettled. They have fear for one reason or another. Or they might just be struggling with depression or physical woes or financially they're hurting. Now, I don't want to leave anyone out, because if there's someone out there doing wonderfully, let me know. I want to know your secret. In these times of stress and confusion and high tensions, it is important for us to sit down and figure things out. Figure out the truths that we know for ourselves that are deep down. And when we have those truths that we have for ourselves, then we need to cling on to them with all that we got. So today I want to discuss a couple things that I know. You know, those truths that are important to me and my survival during this time of stress and uncertainty. First and foremost, I know God's got me, and God's got each one of you. See, God is always with you. And He shares this fact with us in Psalm 139, 7 through 12, which I'm going to read from the Message, which is a translation that if I want to get real and understand in today's terms, that's where I turn to. So again, it's Psalm 139, 7 through 12. It says, "Is there any place I can go to avoid your spirit, to be out of your sight? If I climb to the sky, you are there. If I go underground, you are there. If I flew on morning's wings to far western horizon, you would find me in a minute. You are already there waiting." And then I said to myself, oh, He even sees me in the dark at night. I am immersed with His light. In fact, darkness isn't dark to you. Night and day, darkness and light, they're all the same to you. See, God is beside you. God is walking with you. God is carrying you. And He's already in tomorrow waiting for you to get there. More importantly, because He is beside you at all times, He knows what you're going through. He knows your feelings. He knows your struggles. He knows those secret places in your heart that you don't let anyone know about. And the coolest thing is, it doesn't scare Him. As a matter of fact, Jesus directly spoke to our burdens and asked us to lay them on Him. The next passage of Scripture we're going to look at, once again in the Message, because I love this next passage in the Message, is Matthew 11, 28 through 30. It says, "Are you tired, worn out, burned out on religion? Come to me and get away with me, and you will recover life. I will show you how to take a real rest. Walk with me and work with me. Watch what I do. Learn the unforced rhythms of grace. I won't lay anything heavy or ill-fitting on you. Keep company with me, and you will learn to live freely and lightly. See, he's inviting you to turn to him. He, just as he knew the burdens of those in his age, he knows all the things that we're carrying around with us. He even put names to those feelings and burdens. Tiredness, worn out, burned out. Anyone feeling any of those recently? He wants us to lay it all on him. And while we're unloading the strife in our lives, he gently asks us to have a personal relationship with him. And as we all know, relationships take work. See, just as you can see a fire from a distance, you cannot feel its warmth until you draw close to it. And that's what he wants us to do. Draw close to him. And to depend on him and have a relationship in him and to learn from him. See, when we learn his ways and practice them, they become a good habit and a part of our life. But then he goes on to explain that making that habit is not a heavy thing, but fits you uniquely. Eventually you realize his gentleness and his presence have affected you and have affected you so much that you become what he has called us to be, a disciple. Yes, he knows things are stressful right now. And I believe as we process all the things that are going on today, that we not force our feelings down inside of us, but we feel what we need to, and then we turn them over to God. I know God does not like seeing us suffer. He wants to see us healthy and thriving and productive. So in these uncertain times, it is more important. It is so important for us to practice good self-care. What do I mean by self-care? I mean finding a creative and comforting way to get yourself grounded and give yourself the love and the attention that you may like. When I'm overwhelmed, my first rule is to limit stress as much as possible. The theory of bad stuff in equals bad stuff out and good stuff in equals good stuff out is so true. I first and foremost must limit the news, whether on TV or social media. When I have a bunch of voices in my head that are giving me their opinions on what's going on, it's difficult for me to stay in the moment and know what those things inside of me that are right and true. So next, once I've limited that noise, I need to focus. One of my coping mechanisms when I get overwhelmed is to stop, to close my eyes and remember to breathe. And then I focus. I focus on what I'm hearing. I focus on what I can smell. I focus on what I see in front of me. I focus even what I taste. But more importantly, I focus on the things that I can feel on my skin, whether my shirt is soft, whether it's hot or cold. I focus on everything around me and block everything else out. Other things that I do is I try to keep my hands busy. This will look different for different people. My thing that I do every day is exercise. It doesn't have to be anything strenuous. It can simply be a walk around the block to see God's beauty. Or it could be taking the time to do some stretches. Not only does exercise ground you, but the endorphins that it releases fight depression. Please know I'm only offering suggestions and telling you how I take care of me. Maybe one or two of these will help you. Maybe it's something else. Get creative. But sitting here and consuming endless amounts of tragedy and becoming paralyzed by them is not an option. I know it's hard these days, but when I make it a point I know it's hard these days, but I make it a point to have a running list in my head of things that I'm grateful for. See, gratitude changes people. And when I ask God for all that, whenever I thank God for all that is going on for me, it makes the stress in my head a little smaller. to finally know if you're having problems dealing with what's in front of you. If you're not able to handle all that's going on, reach out. If things are too much and you need help, don't feel defeated. Get help. Find a friend, a pastor, a counselor, a family member, but know that you are not alone. God did not make us in a vacuum. He created Adam, and then he realized that Adam needed a helper, and so he created Eve. We are made to depend on each other, so don't suffer in silence. So my truths these days are simple. God's got me. God desperately wants to be there for me. And that when I do my part, however small or large, though the situation may still be there, how I internalize events and deal with them can be improved. It has been a journey for me to learn how to care for myself and how to ask God for help and how to ask others for help. My biggest lesson that I've learned regarding the world right now is when I ask, why is this going on or why is this happening, there may not be no right answer. I have realized that I must just suck it up and move on sometimes, because on this side of heaven, I may not know the whys. But knowing the why is far less than knowing the who. So today, God's got me and God's got you. And I can rest easy in his arms if I make the effort to seek him. So tonight, if you are hurting, if you are suffering, if you have 1,000 questions with no answers, turn to the great I Am. Turn to Jesus and put it all at his feet. He's waiting. He's willing. And most of all, he's got you. Let your burdens go, my friends, and walk in God's truth and comfort. May you all be blessed. May you all feel a few less burdens. And may you all have a good night. God bless you.